Okay, well, I think we should get started. I'm sure there'll be other people joining the call as we go through. Happy New Year, everyone. It's 2026, and we're beginning the series of life webinars. I'm Mark Lyons. I'm the Director of Sales for SMS Financial Solutions, and I have with me today AJ Staffslin. He's a internal marketing person at North American. And we have a really interesting program for you today, something that's completely different, and it's one to start off the new year the right way, I think. So, just a little bit about AJ. He's been in the financial industry for 25 years now. He's worked as an MGA marketer for life and annuities, LTC, and disability for 14 years. And he's been a wholesaler for the past 11 years with a North American Life. Um, and he resides in Wells Fargo, North Dakota. So my first question is, how far is West Fargo from East Fargo?
Um, it's just right across the river, so like 500 feet.
Okay, all right. That's good to know. That's good to know. All right. So, what are we going to talk about here today, AJ?
Yeah, appreciate the time this morning. We're going to talk about something a little bit different, like you said. This is something I'm very, very passionate about that actually helps advisors and agents. Every company has products, right? That doesn't really help an advisor or an MGA move the needle with their business, though. Um, what this is, it's called segmenting your client database leads to sales opportunities. And we're talking about life insurance. So, in the 25 plus years I've been doing this, the common thread has always been whether I'm talking to somebody who's doing AUM, PNC, health, whatever it is. When you try to bring up life insurance, a lot of the times you hear, well, I want to do life insurance or I want to do more life insurance, but I'm not that good at it. I don't know how to bring it up. I don't know what to say. Trust
You
me,
know,
I feel
I,
your
I
pain.
I don't think anybody around here at SMS Financial Solutions has ever heard that from an agent once, or
That's just,
we hear it all the time. So that's why we're
yep,
starting off the year with you. Um,
absolutely.
and it is brand new year, and so we want the advisors that work with SMS to have more opportunities to sell life insurance. We'd always love them to sell more life insurance. And I'm feeling really good about this year because one, I can do these webinars and I don't have to wear headphones for the first time ever. So I feel free. AJ, why don't you go ahead and try to start your slides?
Absolutely. Yeah. And what this is going to be doing is kind of giving you a track to run on, um, help you segment your client database and not only define who those clients are, but talk about the certain life insurance sales concepts that are going to fit in those segment of clientele and the questions to ask them instead of just blurting out life insurance. So I'm going to share my screen right now, go right into the slideshow.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever worked to blurt out life insurance.
Not in my experience. Okay, let's make sure this all works. Can you see this all on one page?
I can see it all on one page. You're good
Good
to
to go.
go, AJ.
Awesome. Well, again, like I already told you, it's called segmenting your database of clients to uncover life insurance sales opportunities. Let's jump right into the segmenting. Okay.
And if I could just interrupt for
Yeah.
one brief moment. So, for those of you that have not been on an SMS Financial Solutions live webinar before, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A section. Do not utilize the chat feature. We will not be able to see what you're saying. So utilize the Q&A and we'll monitor it and then we'll answer those questions as we go along. Okay, take it away, my
All right.
friend.
So when we talk about the segmenting your database of clients, we put them into four different segments: wealthy family, high income earner, business owner, family planning. This is how we define them. Okay. First, let's talk about family planning. This is going to be that person who is family oriented, probably just kind of getting started with their life, their career, maybe their first job out of college, married, possibly had their first child, middle to upper income, first house. Well, think about when you talk about life insurance, what are some of the easier concepts that you can bring up to these people, knowing who they are? One is always going to fall into any of these segments is policy review. Chances are these people have no insurance on the life side, or maybe very little. Maybe they just have a policy from work, but that's going to be an easy one to bring out to this clientele. Income protection, right? How is your family protected financially tomorrow if you pass away today? Life insurance, right? Another easy one. College planning. If they have their first child, cash value life insurance can actually be utilized to help pay for college funding. A 529 isn't a be all end all when we're talking about college planning. So, again, recapping, family planning is that person who's just getting started with their life, career, maybe married, first kid. And there's three of the basic sales concepts that revolve around life insurance that you can bring up to them. Any questions, comments there, Mark, at all?
No, I'm sorry, I muted myself. So no questions right
Okay.
there. All
Feel free
right.
to interject at any time.
All right.
So the second one is going to be the high income earner. When I say high income earner, I'm talking about that professional. They're making six figures. They're 55 and younger. They're at the point in their life where they're making the most amount of money that they're ever going to make. They're doing really well. Chances are this person is maxing out their 401k, IRA, their Roth. They have that additional money that they don't know what to do with. And a big life insurance sales concept that is going to fit here is going to be retirement planning using IUL, Index Universal Life, right? Because think about this, that person is heavily weighted in qualified money, which is great. But once you get to retirement, once you start drawing down on that, that's a major tax hit, right? So why not fund an IUL that grows tax deferred with potential tax-free income using the loans? The other one is going to be college planning, obviously, if they have young kids. And then income protection. Again, I already talked about that one. How is your family protected financially if you pass away today? Life insurance is fantastic for that. Let's jump over to the wealthy family. When we say wealthy family, I'm talking about people who have over a net worth of 2 million. They're family inclined. They're 55 and older. They're probably at or near retirement. They're at the point in their life where they're thinking about, well, how do I pass on my money the best way to my heirs, right? And the answer to that is what is better, or, it's more like a question. What is better than a tax-free death benefit with life insurance? Nothing. So when we're talking about leaving a legacy, like legacy planning, guaranteed life insurance is fantastic. Estate planning, same sort of scenario, that guaranteed life insurance plan. I'm going to go over a couple examples coming up on this as well. And then annuity maximization has become really hot in the past couple of years. When I say annuity maximization, I mean when those people out there in the industry, these consumers that have dormant annuities, whether it's indexed annuities or even MIGAs, that they're never going to need for retirement because they have multiple buckets in other areas, 401ks, Roths, those sort of things. If you ask that person now, what are you going to do with this money? What is your goal? A lot of them just go, you know what? I'm not going to need this for income. I want to leave this to my heirs the best way possible. Well, why not draw down on that annuity to fund a guaranteed life insurance plan? I'll go over an example of that here in a bit. The last segment is the business owner. This is probably the most underutilized of the segment of client database in the industry that gets promoted to for life insurance purposes. When I'm talking about a business owner, I'm talking about a mature business, been doing it over 3+ years. You want to make sure they have a good track record, positive cash flow. It can be any type of business. The easy ones, buy sell agreements. It is amazing how many uh, businesses that have multiple owners that don't have succession plans. buy sell agreements using life insurance is a great way to take care of that. Key person, how do you protect your company of the loss of a key person or executive? Life insurance, executive bonus. You get some of these employers out there, they might not have a 401k, they might have a smaller company, but they want to reward uh, the executives in their company to stay with them. They can fund a life insurance plan that has cash value in it. So again, that is just some of the business owners, the business sales concepts that you can talk about as it pertains to life insurance. Again, this is by far the most underutilized part of the market. You definitely should be talking to your clients about.
Yeah, and I would say, AJ, I mean, I think a lot of advisors are kind of, if they're uncomfortable bringing up the concept of life insurance, they're really uncomfortable bringing up the concept of business planning utilizing life insurance. And it's really
Absolutely.
not that hard. I mean, I think people get concerned that they don't understand how the business operates enough, or they don't want to
Right.
they don't want to look bad in front of the person that owns
Right.
the business. Um, and what I would say about buy-sell agreements in particular is, you made a good point that a lot of them probably don't have an agreement in place, which is the question you can ask, just do you have a buy-sell agreement? Um, but I think the other piece of it is a lot of times they do have buy sell provisions in whatever their operating agreement is. So if it's like an LLC, um, the the provisions are probably in the document itself.
Yep.
Um, and so if they say they have a buy sell agreement, I mean the question is, well, how's it funded? And I think that's one of the missing components a lot of times in buy sell agreements, particularly if they have the language in their documents, they don't have a funding mechanism to pay for it. So,
Right. Yep. And another thing I would say is that if you're uncomfortable, we'll make you comfortable because we have, if it gets a little bit more tricky with how the company is built, we have an advanced markets team that can help in that scenario. But that brings me to this. Um, it's the old versus new life insurance conversation. So the whole segmenting your client database is one thing. Well, you've done that. Well, now what? Again, people are historically that I've talked to have never just been very good about bringing up life insurance, right? They just blurt out life insurance. And in the past, the clients will go, no, I don't want to talk about that. I have life insurance. I'm good. And the advisor will just move on to the next subject, right? Well, now you don't have to do that. Now you can go, oh, that's great that you actually have life insurance, but is it the old or the new life insurance? And you know that client's going, I don't even know what that means. What do you mean by that? Well, the old life insurance, a lot of it was just death benefit protection and maybe a terminal illness rider. Think about everything that we have now with life insurance. You get the death benefit protection. There's potential accelerated underwriting. There's conversion features. We have living benefits built into all of our plans for no additional cost, critical, chronic, and terminal illness. And there's potential cash value now that you can access that can be tax free via loans. So just changing that mindset of just blurting out life insurance versus asking, hey, is it the old or the new, gets the ball rolling, the conversation started with your clients to ultimately lead to life insurance. Now, here's another few questions that you can talk to and bring to your clientele based on who they are. That segmenting part, right? Instead of just blurting out life insurance, if you're talking to a wealthy family and you want to get that conversation started on life insurance, you don't have to say life insurance. You can ask questions like this. How do you plan on leaving a legacy? Do you have funds set aside? If you're talking to a high income earner, how are you protecting your family's lifestyle if you pass away? One I don't have on here is, um, are you maximizing, are you heavily weighted and qualified money for your retirement, right? Because that leads to that conversation. Well, maybe you need to diversify a little bit, purchase an IUL, tax-free loans during distribution. Business owners, you're talking to them. Which employees would be hardest to replace? Do you know how to protect ownership? That's obviously the buy sell agreement, right? Family planning. When was the last time you reviewed your life insurance? Are the types and amounts adequate? Are you aware of what life insurance cash values can help fund? So again, all of this just brings together segmenting your clients, kind of defining who they are, then focusing on the concepts that you can talk to them about. And here's some of the questions that you can bring to them instead of just blurting out life insurance. So it's kind of giving you a little bit of a better track to run on instead of everything in the past where we used to fumble over talking about life insurance to our clients. Uh, so here's another piece too, social media and triggering events. So in my experience, in this industry right now, we are all over the board on where we are with social media. You have some advisors who are on every platform: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. There's a bunch of other ones I probably don't even know, right? And then you have the other side of the coin. You have some of the advisors or agents who have no social media presence whatsoever. Here's my take on that. You don't have to be heavily involved in social media, but you should have some sort of social media networking for this reason: triggering events. When something major happens in somebody's life, how do they tell people about it? They put it on social media, right? They're not calling their financial advisor. They're not calling their insurance agent going, hey, guess what? I just got a new job, or I just bought a new house, or I had our first child. They put it on social media. So if you aren't on social media, and let's say one of your clients has a child, you don't know that, right? Where if you're on it, like again, you don't need to be posting and all those sort of things, but if you're on it, you see that they had a child, they'll put it on there. That triggers you to give them a phone call and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, congratulations on having your first child. When are we going to come into my office and talk about some college planning? So again, I just talk about that real quick. You don't have to have a huge presence, but you should have some to see those big life events that clients are putting out there.
Yeah, that's a great point, AJ. I mean, really good. And I think advisors probably are good at being out on social media just because it's just such a big thing anymore. Um, but I think that's a really good point that, you want to call them if they're going to get a new job. You want to call them if they have a
Yeah,
child or a grandchild. So that's great.
absolutely. Let's go over a few different sales opportunities that we're getting after we're doing all the segmenting. You've asked them the questions. Ultimately, it's going to be leading to something like this. Um, Here's a perfect sales opportunity we're seeing a lot of right now, especially with a lot of our advisors, AUM advisors who write quite a bit in securities. I know in my experience in the past, there's been a lot of times where I try to talk to them about life insurance, and they kind of are hesitant to talk about it because they think I'm going to talk about taking a lot of their clients' invested assets to fund life insurance. That's not it at all. We're just going to take a fraction. Okay. And this isn't all their money, right? Let's say that this person has 401ks, IRAs, all those sort of things. This is just their invested assets that they might have with their money manager, right? But they really don't have life insurance. They would love to leave a legacy for their heirs the best way possible. And I'm going to show you this in action. So this person here, 50-year-old male, has $300,000 with a money manager. All we're going to do is take 4% each year from this to fund a guaranteed life insurance plan. Okay. So the product we're choosing with North American is our Protection Builder IUL2. It's a GIUL. Okay. So for that person who wants a guaranteed death benefit for a guaranteed premium for a guaranteed duration, worst case scenario, that's what this product is. The upside potential is just a bonus. So here you can see in the left-hand side, that 4% is coming out each year, right? Of the $300,000, which is probably less than what they're earning each year, right? And so that $12,000 is going in. They're funding to age 70. You can see right off the bat, the death benefit is guaranteed almost $700,000. That's immediate leverage, right? They pass away, tax-free death benefit paid to the heirs. Don't forget, we have living benefits built in here too. Critical, chronic, terminal illness built right into the plans that goes off the death benefit at time of claim. Okay. Also, with the Protection Builder too, you can see these blue arrows here. It's an exit strategy. Years 20 and 25, we give them a 60-day window to where if they say, you know what, I don't need this coverage anymore, I just want to get my money back and be done with the policy. They can do that. Worst case scenario. So you'll see this client would have paid in $240,000. We give them the opportunity in year 20 and 25 to get that money back if they want to and just be done with the policy. Now, that's worst case scenario. Look at the right hand column. If you get some of those years, that are positive in index crediting, it can be well over that premium that they paid in. Like, look, for example, in year 25, the cash value would have grown to $305,000 instead of the 240 that they paid in. And I'm only assuming a 5% conservative rate on the right-hand side. So think about this. All we were doing, 4% each year from the invested assets to fund this guaranteed life insurance. That's almost $700,000 all the way to age 100. You have living benefits and you have that return of premium year 20 and 25. Very
And
valuable.
yeah, I think that that's just a fantastic feature in products. It's just fantastic. It takes away that argument about what happens if, everything goes wrong.
Right.
And if it really ever goes wrong, you have the ability to get your money back. But in this case, the death benefit's guaranteed too. So, you know, I don't know how you lose with that deal.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go over another one. So here we're going to talk more retirement supplement. We have a 42-year-old male, preferred non-tobacco, needs that death benefit protection, really wants to maximize retirement savings. This is that person I talked about that fits in the high income earner area where they're maxing out their 401k, their IRA, they're interested in tax diversification, they're worried about market fluctuation. So they're going to fund the IUL for accumulation. So with us, it's going to be the Builder Plus for the majority of the time. So here he's putting in $1,000 a month to age 65. Remember that money grows tax deferred. Now you'll notice the right-hand column, the death benefit, the account value, and the surrender value are all increasing. If they pass away along the way, it's the death benefit at time of claim that they're going to get, right? Going to be tax-free. Or if they have a critical, chronic, or terminal illness event, it's the death benefit at time of claim, not where the policy started, like in this example, $200,000. So money's going tax deferred, tax-free death benefit, living benefits, and let's say he makes it to age 65, 66, he wants to start drawing down on it. That's where you can see here in that left-hand side where they're taking those loans tax-free. That's fixed participating loans. So the loan portion of the money is still earning index crediting like it never left the policy. That's why you see the account value continue to accumulate over time. So if you just look at this, for example, he would have paid in $276,000. Just the first 7 years coming out, he would be getting almost $59,000 each year. That's over $400,000 in tax-free loans in just the first 7 years. Very, very attractive when we're talking about diversification, upside potential with no downside risk, and the bells and whistles of the tax-free death benefit and living benefits. I know I told you what annuity maximization was earlier. Here's a prime example of that. Here we have a 60-year-old male. He has a $500,000, let's just say it's an FIA, fixed index annuity. He is not going to need it for income. He has multiple buckets to draw income from. And if you ask him, hey, what do you want to do with this money? What is your goal? He says, ultimately, I just want to leave this money the best way possible to my heirs. What's the answer? Tax-free
Yeah,
death benefit with life insurance.
yeah, you might have to help them with a little bit with about the best way part because I'm going to leave it to my heirs, and then
Yep.
you as the advisor says,
Yep.
well, do you want to leave it the best way? Yes.
Well, and the reality is, I think some people think, whether they're selling maybe annuities or more investments, sometimes they think that is the only answer for everything. But when you talk to them about tax-free death benefit with life insurance and leveraging this money, um, life insurance can't be beat, right?
Mm.
So here, again, we're using our protection builder too because he wants a guaranteed policy. So we're drawing down over 10 years, right? Whether it's the 10-year certain or the 10% free withdrawal, however you want to take it out. So $50,000 a year, roughly, right, that you're drawing down each year for 10 years. Instantly, that death benefit is almost guaranteed at $1.2 million. That's that leverage conversation. They pass away along the way, tax free death benefit to the heirs. Remember, living benefits, critical, chronic, and terminal illness, we go off the death benefit at time of claim. And oh, yeah, we give you that exit strategy in year 20 and 25 where they want to get their premium back and be done with the policy. They can do that. So it's just positioning that money the best way possible for their heirs, tax free death benefit with life insurance. Now, to wrap, to put a bow on all this stuff, I talked about segmenting. I gave you the questions that you could bring up to your clientele and then showed you a couple sales opportunities. The reality is none of us are experts on every single one of the sales solutions that we have here at North American. We promote about 15 different sales solutions or sales concepts that revolve around life insurance. And what we do is we put it all in one, I guess you could call it a booklet, called our sales solutions roadmap, that takes each one of the sales concepts that we promote and we put them on one page. We try to make it simple for the advisors out there, like, hey, I'm not that familiar with this. What is this concept? What is legacy building? What is key person? So I'm going to show you what that looks like.
And I want to say one thing just about the the language of sales. I mean, in reality, I mean, it's about, the positioning of a product in the end, but it's a planning opportunity. You're not trying to make somebody take something that they don't want. You're trying to point out why it's better for their financial plan if they adopt this process or
Yep.
adopt this the use of this product. So, you can substitute the word planning opportunities for the word or planning solutions for the word sales too, even. So I mean
Yep.
it's, you know,
Definitely.
I know the word sales sometimes turns some folks off. Um, but they're really planning solutions to
Yes.
put the client in a better position than they were before.
Yeah, that also brings up a good point of even on the front end when I kind of brought this up a little bit earlier, but when you're talking to your clients, we've always just seemed to say the phrases like life insurance, annuity, whatever it is, right away in the front end. Some of these people had that stigma in their mind already about those sort of things. So again, not saying those sort of things on the front end and asking those questions like how do you want to leave a legacy, probably a better way to approach it. Yes, the ultimate result could be a life insurance sale or an annuity, but not saying it on the front end that way is probably a better way to position it. Bring up one of those questions instead.
I
Now,
agree with
this
you
is,
100%, AJ.
yeah.
100%.
So this is the format when we're talking about the sales solutions roadmap. Uh, you'll notice, like I picked out two of them. Legacy building. If you don't know what it is, it tells you right there what the concept is, what sort of financial professional is probably going to be able to talk about it, the client profile, the key selling points, there's illustration design tips, and then what product or products that we have at North American that you can position for this sort of planning, like legacy building. The key person, again, right there, tells you what the concept is, the client profile, the key selling points, the illustration design tips, and the products that North American is going to have when we're talking about key person. The great part about this sales solutions roadmap, I just call it the roadmap, is it can be agnostic. It doesn't just have to be North American geared, right? I mean, you can use this for anything. It could lead, to another company's sale, but we want to give you the roadmap, the track to run on to get better at what you're doing, to cross sell your clients, right? And this is how you're going to do it. Now, when we do talk about North American specifically, ease of doing business, we know that everything now is immediate. Everybody wants everything now. We understand that. So with us, when we're talking about doing business, we have the e-application, we have accelerated underwriting, e-delivery, e-signatures, the online part too. The health questions can get done by the client. You can actually do the agent assist with them at the time. And when we talk about accelerated underwriting, obviously that's very prevalent in the industry. With North American, here's the parameters right now. We are going to be expanding on this later this year, so there's more to come with that. But it's ages 18 to 50 up to 2 million in coverage, or ages 51 to 60 up to 1 million in coverage have the opportunity for accelerated underwriting. This is how it works. You fill out the application, you send it to North American, we review it, we send the part 2 to the client. If you want to be involved in that, you can choose agent assist. Then the part 2, the health questions come back to us. We review it, do the MIB, background check, LexisNexis, have our underwriters review it quickly. If everything just looks good on the front end, we just give the client an offer within the first 48 hours. Okay. Now, if something comes back on the underwriting, the background, we're going to kick it to a full underwriting. It could be labs, blood, urine. It could be further than that, right? Now, just because if you get kicked out of the accelerated underwriting doesn't mean you still can't get super preferred non-tobacco. It just means that we need to do a little more due diligence on our end to find out, a little more on the back end of what we saw when we were doing that front end underwriting. Now, this isn't that much different than other carriers. We all are very similar in our parameters. Here's the difference. With us right now, the accelerated underwriting is at about a 45% clip that people are fitting these parameters, going through it, not having to go to full underwriting. So you're almost at a 50-50 shot, where a lot of our competitors are more like 25 to 30% go through accelerated underwriting, where the 70-ish percent are getting kicked to full. So that is a bit of an advantage at North American. And if you don't know about North American, strength and stability, that's the backbone here at North American. We're privately held. We've been doing business over 135 years. We're under the Sammons Financial Group umbrella. We're A+ rated. So we have extremely stable leadership. So we're not publicly traded too. So we don't have shareholders to answer to. So when the market tanks like it did in during COVID in March of 2020, some of our competitors that are publicly traded, that hurt them. They had to put some products on the shelf, change things quickly, a little bit more knee-jerk reaction. But since we're ESOP or privately owned, we don't have to do that. Any questions or comments on that part or anything I covered?
No, not right now. Not right
Okay.
now. Let's see if
I'm going to exit out of
go ahead.
this, and I'm going to show you that sales solutions roadmap to give you a little taste of what it looks like. Give me 1 second here.
You got a lot of stuff on your computer, AJ.
I really do. It just shows you how busy I am and how bad I am at putting everything in like certain different areas, I guess you could say. Okay, let's open up the roadmap.
And I know you got it because you showed me earlier. So
Yeah, it's one of those things. Every time I try to shut one thing down, I shut the wrong thing down. Okay, here we go. There it is. All right, can you see that?
I can see that.
All right, here is the full sales solutions roadmap. I'm going to scroll down so you can see how we have everything in one piece here. There's a table of contents. Here's each of these sales solutions that we promote, or planning solutions. That's a better phrase. We should change that. I kind of like that, Mark. Maybe I should tell our marketing people about that. But if you want to talk about legacy building, you scroll down further, income protection, estate planning. If you're not that familiar, college funding, you can click go to and it takes you right to the page. And again, it tells you, here's the concept. Here's a financial professional profile, client profile, the key selling points, how you design it, and the product or products that North American has. They're all built the same. Now, here's another cool piece we put at the top. So if you're a certain sort of advisor and you're really not that comfortable on the life insurance side, we kind of point out like, hey, if you're doing business, you're dealing with business owners only, what can I talk to them about as it pertains to life insurance? Buy, sell, key person, executive bonus. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, split dollar cases, right? We have an advanced markets team. If you're not that comfortable with some of these sort of things, and you're like, oh, it's an LLC, it's an S corp, something like that, what's the best way to do it? You can reach out to us and we can help you with that. So if you are mainly doing, P&C, you might be dealing with a lot of business owners actually, but you've never talked to them about buy, sell, key person, executive bonus. Obviously, we can have the material sent to you for that. College funding, right? A lot of the PNC agents that I talk to, they're dealing with a lot of younger clients who are just getting started with their life, the family planning segment, right? College funding, client review, anything like that, income protection. So if you're a certain sort of advisor, here's a little inkling to easily get you into the life insurance side of it. That is what we put here on the second page when we're talking about the sales solutions roadmap. Mark, anything to add on any of this?
No, I think that looks fantastic. I'm starting to get questions about how the advisors on the call are going to get their hands on this. So I'll share that with everybody now. So if you're already working with SMS Financial Solutions and you're working with one of the marketers on the team, you would just call that life marketer and say, I would like a copy of the sales solutions roadmap from North American because I was on this webinar. And then they'll send it to you, and no, I'm sure they'll make sure they follow up with you too on the process. If you're not already working with SMS Financial Solutions, you've got a couple ways that you can handle it. You can call 877-888-0166. That's 877-888-0166. And that'll put you through to the life team. That's the folks that I work with, and we'll make sure you get taken care of, and you can get contracted with us for North American and go through the process that way. Or you can go out to the seniormarketsales.com website and just click on the get contracted button, or you can click on the talk to someone button, and then we'll put you in touch. They'll put you in touch with us, and then we'll reach out to you and make sure you get this piece. So, I got another question, and it's regarding the juvenile policies as well.
Yep.
Um, do you have any comments on using life insurance for juveniles or anything
I,
special that North American has?
I mean, honestly, we are big proponents of that. Like I obviously mentioned college planning. Um, so we actually increased the death benefit limits that we allow on juvenile coverage recently up to $500,000, as long as at least one of the parents has the same amount. So we do quite a bit, whether it is for college planning or even just for that college planning slash retirement planning sort of sale. That would be our cash accumulation product. But we also still do a lot of our GIUL for permanent protection that's guaranteed for life, because let's be honest, the insurability of somebody who's a juvenile, it's not probably not going to get any better, right? Health wise, age wise, all those sort of things. And that matters when you're purchasing life insurance. So it's
Mhm.
going to be a lower cost. So we're a big proponent of it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right. Do you want to continue, AJ?
Yeah. So now that we've done the segmenting, I've showed you the roadmap. Here's where you can get even more meat on the bone when we're talking about um, everything that you would want or need when we're talking about the sales materials around those sales concepts. So here's our marketing hub. You don't need a login. You don't need a password to get in there. I know as soon as I show a website, people are like, oh, great. Another login or password I got to remember or write down or forget 5 seconds after I make it. With this, you don't. So this marketing hub has everything that you would need product wise for an advisor or a consumer. Training, For if you need to know how to run our illustrations, it can be done in here. Doing business, that's going to talk about our e-application, underwriting, those sort of things. But just for what we were talking about with the sales concepts, I'm on the sales concept page. So let's say, for example, you want to get materials on business concept, buy, sell, key person, executive bonus. Click here on business concepts. There's the buy, sell. There's the executive bonus. There's the key person. If you want the consumer materials, for example, click consumer materials. We're going to have a brochure, a checklist. There's going to be a one sheeter that you can fill out. And then also, a lot of these are going to have a compliance approved, consumer approved video that is going to be a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, that you can embed and send to a client. It's compliance approved. It's in layman's terms, so it's nothing ridiculously advanced, or anybody can understand these. Okay, so if you're looking for the consumer pieces, the agent materials, whatever it is, it's all going to be here in the marketing hub under sales concepts. So I just wanted to kind of tie all this together when we're talking about the segmenting. We have the questions that we give the advisors, to bring to their clientele. We have the sales solutions roadmap, and all of the other materials going to be here in the marketing hub.
Yeah, I mean, I think the videos that are consumer approved, I mean, that's just fantastic because, some advisors are going to like to have that conversation themselves to start it out. Others are going to feel more comfortable if if they send out a video and say, "Please watch this," and it generates the phone call back.
Absolutely.
But or at least if the advisor sends it out and they don't get a call back, they can just follow up with them anyway as part of their daily job duties. So that's great. That's great. Any final words?
For me, it's just you got to do it. You got to do it. I know you see it. It looks great. The biggest issue in my mind that we have in the industry is follow up.
Yeah.
We always have the intention on the front end to do the right things, right? But you got to follow all the way through, right? You start segmenting your client database, you start having the conversations, then we kind of fall flat a little bit there, right? Hey, let's have this conversation. Again, a follow up in like 2 weeks or something with our client about potential legacy planning. It seems to fall flat somewhere there. You got to continue through the process. Make sure you're doing the follow up with that client. Bring everything you have, bring all of these marketing materials to them, give them every opportunity to see, like, oh my gosh, this can really benefit me and my future. This can benefit my heirs. This can benefit me in retirement. The follow up is, again, where we fall flat. So segment, bring the right questions, but ultimately give them a solution at the end.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. And that is why we are having you on first thing. It's January. The holidays are over. It's a new year. For those of you that are on the call that, sell Medicare supplement policies, AEP is over. There's nothing to get in your way right now. Start today. We'll get you the materials. We'll help you out. AJ will help you out. But we really, really need to start, having these conversations now. Segment your book, and commit to it. If you want, you keep saying, I want to do it, but you don't ever do it, you're just going to make yourself feel bad about it. So let's get rolling. Call the team, call me, call whoever you want to call, but let's get started. All right.
Agreed.
AJ, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a great presentation. I love all the materials. I love the ideas that you had. I love the social media. I love the guaranteed death benefits with the guaranteed premiums and the guaranteed return of premium. It's just all fantastic, and the marketing materials are stupendous. So, thank you very much. We appreciate you being with us today. AJ's here to help. So, for those of you that are on the call, we can, get you in touch with AJ. If we're not helping you clear enough and just help remove any roadblocks. So um, thank you again. And for everybody on the call, we'll see you next month for the next webinar from SMS Financial Solutions.